Wolf's Lair, August 1944. Hitler's hands tremble as he reads 7 reports delivered in 4 days. His elite panzer force is evaporating. 2nd Panzer Division cannot fight anymore. 9th Panzer has vanished completely. Nobody knows where they are. 116th Panzer is running away without anyone ordering retreat. Panzer Lehr has only 15% of its soldiers left. Hitler looks at his war map and sees something terrifying. The 7 armored divisions he counted on to save the Western Front have been erased from existence. No massive tank battle destroyed them. No heroic last stand finished them. They simply melted away across French countryside. One American general made this happen. George Patton. His army moved so fast that German commanders never found time to organize defense. Never found moment to gather forces. Never caught a break to strike back. 7 days changed everything. Patton's relentless speed accomplished what years of warfare could not achieve. The mighty Wehrmacht lost its ability to fight back. Hitler finally understands a horrible truth. Speed like this cannot be stopped by shouting orders. It cannot be defeated by German willpower. Only fresh troops can stop it. Germany has no fresh troops left. Field Marshal Walter Model commands Army Group B. His headquarters becomes a madhouse during August's last week. Radio messages arrive telling impossible stories. Panzer units engage American tanks, and radio goes dead. Hours pass, sometimes days. When contact returns, the numbers make no sense. A division reporting 60 tanks yesterday now claims only 12 remain. Entire regiments disappear from communication. Battalions scream for help, claiming encirclement in areas Model's maps show as safe German territory. Model tries building accurate picture of the battlefield. His problem is not missing information. His problem is drowning in contradictory information. Updates arrive faster than any human can process them. One armored division confirms holding river defensive line. 2 hours afterward, scouts discover Americans already 20 kilometers beyond that river. How did they cross? When did Germans abandon position? Nobody can explain. American movement follows no pattern German officers ever studied. No concentrated spearhead pushing toward single objective. Instead, American armor advances everywhere simultaneously. Multiple columns probe constantly. The moment any column discovers weakness, it exploits immediately. One American group hits resistance while another races far behind German positions. Defenders must abandon prepared ground before fighting even begins. German panzer commanders experience nightmare that repeats endlessly. They select defensive position. They begin digging in. They prepare for American assault. Before preparations finish, panicked radio message arrives. Americans spotted behind us. Abandon position. Retreat. Find new ground. Start digging again. Message arrives again. Americans behind us again. Retreat further. This cycle never stops. German divisions trained for defensive warfare never get opportunity to demonstrate their skills. Patton's Third Army makes their training worthless. His forces advance unevenly in ways that confuse German intelligence completely. Some American units crawl forward slowly, making Germans think main attack comes from that direction. Other American units sprint ahead at impossible speeds. Germans identify what they believe is primary American thrust. They shift reserves to block it. By time reserves arrive, Americans have already changed direction entirely. German countermoves address threats that no longer exist. Fresh crises explode in unexpected locations. August's final week brings catastrophe beyond anything German commanders imagined. 7 armored divisions simultaneously face conditions making resistance impossible. Concentrating forces invites American aircraft to slaughter them from above. Establishing defensive positions fails because American ground forces outrun German withdrawal speed. Launching counterattacks fails because local superiority never materializes. The divisions bleed constantly through endless small engagements, allowing no rest. Model watches daily strength reports with growing horror. August 20th shows 7 Panzer divisions possessing 400 operational tanks combined. August 27th shows fewer than 90. Where did 300 tanks disappear? Most were not destroyed in combat. Engines failed from overuse. Crews abandoned vehicles when fuel vanished. Mechanics destroyed tanks rather than let Americans capture them. Divisions are dying, not from losing battles. They are dying because Patton refuses to let them catch breath. Communication networks collapse completely during August's closing days. Corps commanders tell Army headquarters they cannot reach their divisions. Division commanders admit they cannot find their own regiments. Regimental commanders report battalions retreated without orders or were surrounded and captured. The entire chain of command, enabling coordinated military action, is shattering into pieces. Allied codebreakers intercept German radio traffic and hear pure chaos. Officers desperately request situation updates. Commanders ask where neighboring units are located. Different reports place American forces in completely contradictory positions. Some headquarters issue movement orders to units already destroyed. Some units request permission for retreats they already executed hours ago. German military doctrine assumes predictable information cycle. Reports travel upward. Staff analyzes reports. Commanders make decisions. Orders travel downward. This system works beautifully when battlefield changes slowly. Against Patton's speed, the system becomes worthless. Headquarters receives report about situation existing 2 hours ago. Staff spends time analyzing. Commander formulates response. Orders travel to forward units. By arrival time, situation has transformed completely. Orders address reality that no longer exists. Model recognizes this breakdown, but finds no solution. He grants forward commanders authority to decide without waiting for approval. This creates new disaster. Forward commanders lack big-picture understanding. They make locally sensible decisions that create operational chaos. One unit retreats while neighboring unit advances. Gaps open in defensive lines. Americans pour through immediately. Physical infrastructure crumbles alongside command structure. American bombs destroy telephone exchanges. Radio stations vanish under air attack. Signal troops cannot maintain networks while constantly fleeing capture. Couriers carrying messages get lost in zones where nobody knows frontline locations. Messengers get captured delivering orders through territory assumed safe, but actually American-controlled. German forces are losing ability to talk to each other precisely when talking matters most. Armored division commanders suffer particularly severe awareness collapse. Running a division requires knowing where your regiments are fighting, knowing their remaining strength, knowing enemy forces opposing them, knowing available support options. During August's final week, division commanders increasingly lack all this information. They issue orders based on yesterday's reality. They discover orders cannot be executed. They attempt gathering fresh information. By time fresh information arrives, it has already become stale. Several division commanders make extraordinary admissions to higher headquarters. They confess they no longer understand their own division's status. They know approximately how many tanks still function. They cannot say where those tanks are located. They believe their division controls certain territory. They cannot confirm this belief. They receive reports of Americans in supposedly secure areas. They cannot verify accuracy. The cumulative result is paralysis. Headquarters cannot issue useful orders without current information. Forward units cannot execute orders addressing vanished situations. Nobody is incompetent. The system itself has failed because Patton's speed exceeds its processing capacity. Reports arriving at Wolf's Lair during August's final days provoke reactions that frighten attending officers. Hitler refuses accepting that multiple panzer divisions have essentially ceased existing. He demands explanations. How can divisions reported combat ready just days ago suddenly become combat ineffective? Staff officers explain American speed and mobility. Hitler dismisses explanations as cowardly excuses. Witnesses describe Hitler's reaction as combining denial with explosive rage. He insists panzer divisions cannot simply evaporate within days. Losses this severe require major battles. Intelligence reports document no major battles. Therefore, losses are exaggerated, or division commanders refused fighting properly. Hitler orders investigation into whether commanders retreated without authorization. Unauthorized retreats must explain reported losses, not combat pressure. Hitler's reaction reveals fundamental blindness. He imagines division destruction requiring direct combat, glorious decisive battle where German tactical superiority prevails. The concept of divisions destroyed through relentless pressure, preventing effective resistance, lies beyond his understanding. Staff officers explain that American tempo causes collapse without major engagements. Hitler interprets this explanation as admission German soldiers lack fighting spirit. Orders Hitler issues reflect his confusion. He demands counterattacks, restoring situation. He commands panzer divisions establishing and holding defensive lines, regardless of encirclement threats. He prohibits any withdrawal without personal approval. These orders are militarily impossible against enemy moving faster than German command cycles function. Hitler cannot accept that operational tempo makes his orders irrelevant before reaching units meant to execute them. Arguments that Americans move too fast for effective German response get labeled defeatism. Suggestions that defending fixed positions against mobile enemy guarantees encirclement get dismissed as lacking will. Hitler's operational thinking cannot accommodate truth that Patton's methods have rendered traditional German defensive doctrine obsolete. Professional military officers at German high command understand catastrophe clearly. Losing 7 panzer divisions in 1 week is devastating beyond recovery. These are not infantry divisions rebuilt with conscripts. These are armored formations requiring tanks, trained crews, specialized equipment. Germany's shrinking industrial capacity cannot replace them quickly. These losses permanently reduce German mobile defense capability. Even more terrifying is recognition that American operational methods will continue. Material superiority allows Third Army maintaining high tempo indefinitely. German forces cannot match this tempo with existing resources. The pattern of continuous pressure causing division collapse will repeat. Eventually, all German forces in France will be destroyed. Staff officers see this outcome clearly. Hitler either cannot see it or refuses acknowledging it. Previous Eastern Front crises saw panzer divisions suffering heavy damage, then recovering. Divisions got mauled, withdrew, refitted, returned to battle. What makes August 1944 different is recovery becomes impossible under conditions Patton creates. Divisions are not merely damaged. They are systematically prevented from reconstituting. Normal recovery requires withdrawing damaged division from front line, moving it to rear area, receiving replacement troops and equipment, conducting integration training, returning to combat. This process requires weeks or months, but restores effectiveness. Against Patton's tempo, no step can occur. No stable rear area exists for withdrawal. Replacement equipment cannot reach units when supply routes face constant threat. Training proves impossible when divisions remain in continuous contact. Divisions remain trapped in declining effectiveness spiral. Each engagement costs equipment and personnel. Resupply cannot match losses. Remaining forces grow weaker. Weaker forces perform worse in subsequent engagements. Losses accelerate. Cycle continues until divisions cannot perform basic military functions. This is not temporary damage. This is organizational death. Attempt rebuilding divisions while fighting fail because Patton never allows breathing space. Division tries resting while holding defensive position. Americans attack before rest completes. Division withdraws to establish new position. Americans attack again. Pattern repeats until division has nothing left. Geography multiplies the problem. Eastern front distances allowed damaged divisions, withdrawing far enough for genuine rest while other forces held the line. French distances are compressed. Americans appear everywhere at once. No safe rear exists. Units withdraw and immediately encounter Americans again. Operational depth-saving German divisions in Russia does not exist in France. Air power makes everything worse. Any vehicle concentration attracts immediate bombing. Divisions must scatter for survival. Scattering prevents effective maintenance and coordination. Units attempting massing for counterattack get destroyed from above before engaging ground forces. The operational environment makes traditional division operations impossible. By August's end, 7 panzer divisions are not merely damaged. They are scattered remnants lacking coherent command, lacking support services, lacking coordination capability. Individual tanks might still fight. Divisions as operational formations have ceased existing. Complete rebuilding from scratch is required. Germany possesses neither resources nor time. Destroying 7 panzer divisions in 1 week creates strategic consequences extending far beyond tactical losses. These divisions represented Germany's Western Front mobile reserve. Forces meant counterattacking Allied penetrations. Forces meant stabilizing defensive lines. Without them, German forces in France forfeit flexibility. They can defend fixed positions. They cannot respond to Allied maneuver. Psychological impact on German command proves devastating. If Third Army destroys 7 panzer divisions in 1 week, it can repeat this against any formation. No German force in France remains safe. Traditional defensive doctrine, assuming prepared defenders hold advantage over attackers, has become obsolete against attacker moving faster than defenders respond. Germany's Western strategic situation becomes hopeless after this week. Without mobile reserves, stable defensive lines become impossible. Germans sit fixed while Americans maneuver around them. Each defensive line lasts only until Americans find gap. Entire front rolls backward until reaching German borders. Perhaps not stopping even there. Industrial implications prove catastrophic. Tank production already declining under bombing cannot replace 7 divisions quickly. Even producing tanks, trained crews are dying faster than replacements can be trained. Veterans of Poland, France, and Russia are perishing in France summer 1944 at irreplaceable rates. Germany is losing institutional military knowledge faster than new knowledge develops. Hitler's refusal acknowledging strategic implications worsens everything. He continues planning operations, assuming mobile reserves exist. He orders offensives, requiring armored concentration. His plans assume capabilities that have ceased existing. Staff officers understand this. They cannot convince Hitler adjusting strategy to actual resources. The weak 7 panzer divisions disintegrated marks the moment German defeat in the West becomes inevitable. Germany can still fight, still defend, still inflict casualties. But it cannot conduct mobile defense, delaying Allied advance sufficiently for negotiated settlement. Initiative has passed completely to Allies. Germany lacks forces reclaiming it. This development proves strategically final because it occurs before Germany prepares Rhine defenses, before establishing positions on German soil. Panzer divisions were supposed buying time for such preparations. Their destruction means Allies reach German frontier before significant defenses exist. Buffer territory that might have provided months of preparation time disappears in weeks. Third Army's August 1944 tempo permanently shifts Western European strategic balance. Germany entered August with realistic hope of stabilizing situation, conducting prolonged defense. Germany exited August having lost mobile forces necessary for that defense. Transformation occurred not through single decisive battle. Through 1 week of continuous operational pressure destroying German response capability. Hitler witnessed many military setbacks during the war. Most could be overcome through determination and skillful defense. This setback could not be overcome. It destroyed the very means for conducting such defense. 7 divisions lost in 1 week represented not merely tactical defeats. They represented strategic capability Germany could never rebuild, facing enemy capable of repeating performance indefinitely. That realization, more than any battlefield loss, truly terrified Hitler when reports revealed what Patton accomplished in 7 days.